Hello everyone, my name's Bethan. Today we're going to be making some artwork inspired by the artist Susie Green, who has an artwork called Goddess Mouth on at the Baltic at the moment. Now we're going to make some artwork inspired like this, inspired by Susie's use of colour and repetition. And to do that we will need some paper, so white for your base and some black if you have it, or a dark colour. And then some coloured paper will be really useful. I've chosen some pinks and greens. If you don't have coloured paper, you can use just coloured pencils. Then you will need some glue and some scissors. So let's go. So Susie Green's artwork in the Baltic is made up of a series of light boxes that have watercolour imagery of things that look a little bit like lips and rivers. So we're going to take the form of the light boxes, and what we'll do first of all is we need a white piece of paper, and we're going to fold it to give ourselves a kind of grid shape that we'll work on. So first of all, we fold it in half lengthways, and then if you spin it round and fold it in half and half again, and press really hard on the fold because that will give you a really nice strong grid to work with. So when you open it up, you'll be able to see your 8 little boxes. So once you've done your white paper, I'm going to do the same to a coloured piece of paper. So I'm going to fold it in half, fold it in half again, fold it one more time, and this time I'm going to keep it together because what I want to do, I'm going to cut out one shape, and because it's folded in half, I'll end up getting lots of the same shape. Now you can either draw a shape or you can freehand cut. And I'm going to cut a sort of pair of lips, just like Susie has in the centre of her artwork. Now that I've cut out lots and lots of different shapes, it's now thinking about how I can add other different marks and colours. Now Susie Green uses watercolour paint where you can get lots of washes and textures, but I only have coloured pencils, so I'm going to think about the kind of mark making that I can do here. So one way of getting some interesting mark making as well is if you hold 2 pencils in your hand at the same time, and say if I wanted to decorate this brown shape, I might kind of hold them and then I can get kind of 2 colours going at the same time. I also might want to think about doing the same patterns on them because we're looking at repetition. So I might want to decorate all my brown pieces in exactly the same way. And it's just a case of thinking about how can you get colour and shape in with your coloured pencils. So now that I've made all my colourful shapes and added some texture, I'm going to think about how I might make my final piece like this. Now eventually there's going to be a black frame over all the work to make it look like light boxes. But for now, I've just got my white sheet of paper. Now I think a little bit of these 8 squares a little bit like an artwork in themselves. But I'm going to think about the shapes that I've made. How can I play with the shapes and turn them round so that they sort of mirror each other? So I've got a bit of repetition, but also a bit of difference in each square. I'm not going to stick anything down yet. I'm just going to play with my shapes till I find something that works. And then I might think about maybe my lips. I might put them in the middle, a little bit like Susie Green. She has the sort of the mouth, the goddess mouth in the centre of some of her works. And I'm just going to play around with lots of different shapes till I've got something that I like the look of. Now that you've maybe stuck everything down in the way that you want it, you might want to turn it over and just like me see if I've overstuck anything. So I'm just going to trim that down. So you want to try and make your white paper nice and rectangular and clean again. And then it's thinking about the frame. Now you take your black piece of paper and you can use a ruler if you like to try and get exact rectangular stripes, but I just like freehand cutting, and I'm going to cut this black piece of paper into lots of strips about the thickness of my finger, about 1 centimetre thick. Now once I've cut lots of black paper, I'm going to stick them down, and I'm looking for the fold lines that I originally made when I folded my paper. So I'm going to just put a long bit of glue on it and then follow my vertical lines. And because I've lined them up here at the top, these are a little bit long, so I can just go along cutting these off. And I'll glue my horizontals on, and again following that middle fold line. And there we go, we have our own Susie green goddess mouth.